Hello everybody, I am Chantel and welcome to the Thames Disc Golf Course. This is a beautiful 9-hole course located in Chatham, Ontario. It's been a while since we have been able to get out and film around for you all, so I am super excited. Hole 1 is a par 3, 259 feet. The sign here says that it is a turnover shot, but I am going to be taking the hyzer line with my MD3. And I'm just going to be trying to throw it pretty straight and get a little bit of fade at the end, but you have to miss these trees on the right. And I just didn't throw it high enough, so I end up clipping that last tree there. And I left myself with an edge of the circle putt, maybe a little bit outside. And I just seemed like I didn't aim very well, so I'm left with this small putt for my par. Nothing wrong with a par on the first hole. Hole 2 is a par 3, 341 feet. This hole, I don't really care for this hole. I feel like these trees are just in the way for the hyzer shot, so I'm just taking my thrasher and trying to get it up there close for an upshot. I don't usually really get near this basket, so just trying to get it as far up there as possible. And I turned it over just a little bit too much, but it's an easy upshot. And I'm just going to be jump putting with my judge close to the basket, hopefully. Maybe giving it a little bit of a run. And that's perfect. Easy tapping. Hole 3 is a par 3, 305 feet. I really like this hole. It's a turnover shot. It's not as straight as the sign says, but I'm going to be throwing my thrasher again, just hoping to get a little bit of turn. And right when I released that, I was like, oh, that's going to be really good. And I just missed that last tree, and I parked it. I was really happy with that. I didn't think that I was parked from the tee because you can't really see the basket, but that was a nice birdie. Hole 4 is a par 4, 580 feet. This hole you want to keep as straight as possible because there is left OB, and then if you turn it over too far, there is a river and lots of trees. So I'm throwing my ballista, and I got scared of turning it too much, so kind of aired it out. But it landed short of the OB, so I am safe. And I just have this hyzer upshot, so I'm throwing my destroyer here, just trying to get as far as I can and close to the pin, which I was actually really happy with that. I'm like pin high just to the right. So I have like I think it's like about 40-ish feet. Hopefully I can aim better on this putt. And that is awesome. I really like getting this hole because it's pretty tricky with the left OB and the trees, because if you end up in those trees on the right, it's basically just a pitch out. So I was really happy to get that 3. Hole 5 is a par 4, 555 feet. This hole I like to play it safe because every time I go for it, I end up, going OB or in the right. So I'm just throwing my Mako 3 as straight as I can. And I wanted that to be a little bit higher, but it's fine. It's basically the same shot wherever you land. I'm just throwing my destroyer on with a sidearm, trying to get into the middle of the fairway on the other side, because as you can see, it's like a dog leg to the right. So that is perfect. Now it's just a straight up shot with my judge. And I love this disc. I just got it a month ago, and it is the Chameleon Judge, and it's so straight with a little tiny bit of fade at the end. And it's just so much more reliable than like the regular plastic that I used to throw with, the Prime Burst. So it was a really nice upgrade. I gotta get a couple more. Hole 6 is a par 3, 216 feet. This is basically a must-get birdie. It's a little bit easier right now because the cattails aren't grown in, so you can throw more directly at it. But once they're grown in, you gotta throw it a little bit higher and it's a little more tricky. So I'm just throwing my Judge, and you can see how beautiful the flight is. It's just so straight and basically parked. Oh, Chris is creeping on me. And another birdie. You gotta get that one. Hole 7 is a par 4, 545 feet. So there is OB on the left, and then you don't want to turn it over too much because there are trees and people's backyards. So I'm just throwing my Thrasher on an Anheuser and then hoping it doesn't fade out too much. And that is fine, away from the OB. So I just have basically a straight look at the basket. I'm going to be throwing my Verdict here, hoping to get it pretty flat and have it fade a little bit at the end. And I just put a little too much hyzer on that, so I don't get the full flight of the disc, but I am up there in the circle for a putt. And then this putt's a little intimidating because there is a drop off behind the basket, so you can get a roll away, or if you hit the basket, can roll away, but not too worried about it. Just looking for it to go in. So happy with that one, getting another birdie. And this hole's so cool because sometimes you land in the towers and you have to like maneuver around them, so it's a cool hole. Hole 8 is a par 3, 210 feet. This is another must-get birdie. It's basically just right up the gap, and you can go over the trees and do a little hyzer, but I just like throwing straight with my Judge and even giving it kind of an ace run. And I'm happy with that. Pretty close for another birdie. Hole 9 is a par 3, 302 feet. This is a pretty low ceiling, so you gotta keep something pretty low. I'm gonna be throwing my Undertaker and just try to pump it right up the middle, get a little bit of fade at the end because the basket is in between some trees at the end to the left. But I just early released this and kind of fades out to the left. And now I'm behind some guardian trees, and I have this little weird straddle putt to the basket, and I think I'm just outside the circle here. I have been working on my straddle putt, so hoping I could get enough power to get to the basket here and not hit one of these trees. And the line was good, it just need a little bit more power, but I was just happy to get through those trees, honestly. And I have a pretty close tap in for my par. All right, so finishing off with a -5. This is a really nice little course, so if you're around the area, I would suggest going and checking it out because it's a pretty cute little course. So thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you in the next one.